This is Doug Payne here after Rolex for 2011 Cross Country Day. Here joining me is Peter Atkins. Peter, what was your first initial reaction to the day?
Seemed like almost every time I looked up I saw some bad riding and someone running out or falling off. It was pretty rough out there.
You think it was a fair course?
I think it's a very fair course. Anyone that galloped up and rode it correctly and forward seemed to do really well. Anyone that seemed very tentative, they weren't going so well.
Yep. No, there was plenty of excitement. I think Mary King is first and second here, followed by Clayton Fredericks. Sinead and Hannah round out the top five. So certainly it's pretty exciting and had a lot going on. So Peter, with your horses, you've been using ECOGOLD pads for quite a while. Tell me a little about why you've been using them and what are your thoughts on it?
Henry especially, it gets very hot on cross country, and the cooling effect, the less pad on there is just great for him, especially running these longer courses.
Yep. What is Henry doing now?
He's sitting around getting fat and happy. He's back from his colic surgery. He's not back in full work yet.
Yep. Cool. When would we expect to see him?
Maybe Fair Hill at the end of the year. Definitely Rolex next year.
Perfect. Do you have any sort of pre-ride strange, odd things that you do?
I'm just strange and not all round, but not really.
Yeah. No sort of rituals or any sort. How do you go about mentally preparing for competition?
I just focus and just ride my horse. To most of the competitions, well, eventing especially, is just a competition between yourself and the horse, and whoever happens to be the best wins. So I just focus on riding my horse well. Yeah,
perfect. And in preparing your horse for competition, tell me a little bit about your fitness plan.
Henry's a little different than the thoroughbreds I've had before. When I was galloping him once a week, he just wasn't getting fit, getting ready for Bromont last year. And I moved it up to once every 4 days. It's the only way I'm getting fit. Gotcha. And for Rolex last year, I was swimming a lot at Kesmark Equine Rehab Centre down in Ocala.
What's a lot?
Like 2 or 3 times a week.
Oh, wow. Well, what was your first pony's name?
Tony.
Tony, and he was?
A pony.
I expected nothing.
He was a piebald.
Yeah.
Or Pinto, they call them here.
Gotcha. So, were you completely hooked on eventing as a young kid, or did it take a bit of time to sort of get into it, or how'd you get to the point where you are today?
I just grew up eventing. My father was Master of Foxhounds. He evented up to prelim. My mother was longlisted for the LA Olympics back in '84. We evented, we show jumped, we hunted, we raced, we did everything.
Gotcha. And then coming back here to the weekend, what's your favorite part about Rolex?
I just like the atmosphere here.
Yeah, it's unlike anything you see anywhere else, really. Not about any else in the world, but certainly in this country. Buccalo's unbelievable. Yeah, that was it's just completely staggering the amount of people they have. So if looking back on your history and all your experience, what would you do? What would you change? And to maybe help yourself out a little better in the past that you've now learned.
I would have had a written contract with Linda Martin instead of a verbal one.
Yeah, well, what about your riding skills or any of that?
I wish I hadn't ridden quite so many bad bucking horses as a kid, but it taught me how to stay on. Just makes me more defensive.
Gotcha. What was your proudest accomplishment up to date?
Every time I bring a young horse up to whatever level that horse gets up to, I'm pretty proud of that.
Gotcha. And if you could ride any horse, maybe here or really anywhere around the world, who would it be?
Other than Henry?
Other than Henry.
Tiana's horse.
Yeah, no, he's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, she had a rough day. So.
Yeah, no, she did, but she'll be back, and I'm sure.
She's a great kid.
Yeah, no, I'm sure she won't have any trouble in the future. So tell us a little bit more about your horses, at Rolex, and where is Henry the next one to come back, or where are we at?
Yeah, he'll be the next one. I can't really afford to run Fig Jam this year with all the issues going on. Yeah. So hopefully Henry will be back here at Rolex next year.
Gotcha. And what role does your significant other play in your riding and daily life and all?
She helps me a lot with the dressage, looks after our son Owen, and just great support.
How old is he?
He's 3.5.
Gotcha. And how do you balance your family life versus professional stuff?
Well, she's an equine professional as well, so she understands. Owen loves the horses, he loves Henry, doesn't mind coming to the events, so it works out really well.
Gotcha. What's the very last thing you think about before going into either the start box or going into the dressage ring or show jumping?
Just trying to keep him quiet and relaxed, and all of my horses quiet, relaxed, and focused on getting the job done.
What are your secrets to success that a bunch of amateurs or whatever could end up using in their daily or weekly competition, whenever that might happen?
I'm always trying to figure out how to make it easy for the horse to do what I want it to do, and then the next step from that is trying to figure out how to make the horse think it's their idea to do what I want it to do.
Sure. And what's your support system like?
I had a really good friend that came and groomed for me at Rolex and WEG. I have a good support crew, and I'm sure she'll be back next year for Rolex.
No, perfect. Well, Peter, thanks again for joining us here, and best of luck in the future.
Thanks, Doug.